Okay, two-step equations. So, solve the equations by reversing the operations on the variable. So you want to find the value of x, which makes these equations work. So this first one, 2x minus 7 equals minus 3. So 2 times x minus 7 equals minus 3. So by guessing, sometimes you can get the answers to these, just by guessing and checking and see what happens. But we want to come up with a way of doing it that's actually going to work all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it down over here so I can show the operations a little bit more clearly. So we have 2x minus 7 equals minus 3. First up, we have a 2 here which represents multiplication, and then we have a minus 7 which is subtraction. So which one do we reverse first? Remember we said we go opposite of PEMDAS. So any additions and subtractions will be reversed first unless they're in parentheses, which is when they go last. So we do is a plus 7 here and a plus 7 here. Okay, the minus 7 plus 7 cancel each other out. So on the left side we're left with 2x, and on the right side we're left with minus 3 plus 7, which is plus 4. Now the 2 in the 2x represents multiplication, so we divide both sides by 2. And we work out. You'll see that the multiplication and division cancel, so you're left with x equals 2. And then you can check it by subbing it in. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 7 is minus 3. So that's the answer, x is 2. Next one, b over 6 minus 5. Again, I'm going to write it out over here on the side just a little bit bigger so you can see my operations more clearly. b over 6 plus 5 equals 7. Well, the 6 is a division, the 5 is addition. Which do we reverse first? The addition. Okay, so to reverse minus 5, or to reverse plus 5, we do minus 5. So we're left with b over 6 equals 7 minus 5, which is 2. I'm just going to make this 6 look more like a 6 and less like a b. And then finally, to reverse division by 6, we multiply both sides by 6. Okay, so this 6 is cancelled, and we're left with b equals 12. And if you check it, put the 12 in place of the b in the equation. 12 divided by 6 is 2, plus 5 is 7. Correct. This one here is more interesting now, I think. And we'll see why. So what we've got, 5 divided by 7 equals minus 25. So what you've got here, the 5 on the top represents multiplication. The 7 on the bottom represents division. So what you have is some number x, when it's divided by 7, and then the answer multiplied by 5, gives you minus 25. So let's have a look at how we would reverse that. So I'll write it out again here. 5 over 7x equals minus 25. In these situations, I always reverse what's on the bottom first. So the division by 7, I'm going to reverse by multiplying by 7. Okay? So division and multiplication cancel, so you're left with 5x equals 7 times 25 is 175, and there's the minus. And now from here it's easy. To reverse multiplication by 5, divide by 5. Okay, they cancel. You're left with x equals minus 35. If you substitute it in there, minus 35 divided by 7 is minus 5, multiplied by 5, minus 25. Okay, let's go on a little bit more. Let's try this 2 more quick look at here. So, what have we got? Right. This one might be a little bit trickier. 2-stepper. The problem with this, okay, so we have, I'm going to write it out, minus 9x equals 12 minus 3x. Now, the problem in this situation is that you have an x term here on the left and an x term on the right. You don't want that. What you want is, you want all the little terms with the x's in it to be on the same side of the equal to. So we need to get them together. Now this is new, this is a different kind of a trick, but it's not so difficult. So what I'm going to do is, on the right hand side where we have plus 3 or minus 3x, I don't want to have any x's over there. So I'm going to add a plus 3x here. Okay? If I do that, I have to do a plus 3x on this side as well. So the minus 3x and the plus 3x cancel each other out. Okay, so that means I have no more x's on the right-hand side. Remember, you can do anything that you want as long as you're doing the same to both sides. And your goal is to isolate the x. So what have I got? I've got minus 9x plus 3x is minus 6x equals 12. And then that minus 6 represents multiplication, so you divide both sides by minus 6. Okay, so they cancel out, and you're left with x equals minus 2. All right? It's not as difficult as it looks. It's just that there's variables on both sides and you need to bring them together. And I think this is our last one. Yeah, so our last one here. Let's have a look at this. So here's what I do in this situation. You're seeing you have 3x minus 1 all divided by 6 is equal to minus 4. Okay, you can't just add 1 to both sides there because the 1 is actually being divided by 6 as well. So there's a couple of different ways to do it. The one way, 3x minus 1 is being divided by 6. The whole thing, 3x minus 1 all divided by 6. So if you multiply by 6 on both sides, that 6 is cancelled. So what you're left with is 3x minus 1, because this is what's been divided by 6 and then multiplied by 6, is equal to minus 24. Okay, now from there it's easy. But because it's all divided by 6, okay, multiplying by 6 leaves you with 3x minus 1. Now we continue. Plus 1 to both sides. Cancel, 3x equals, I shouldn't have drawn that line through the 24 there, that was just a slip. And then you divide both sides by 3. And you end up with x equals minus 23 over 3. And 3 goes into 23 7 times with, it's minus 7 with 2/3. And actually, to be honest, if you leave it like this, it's acceptable. It's fine. Okay? So that's how that works. Level 3, very easy, I think.